good and live good. I'm Eloy Gomez. I'm the CEO of Mr. Jeff. The story of Jeff began in 2015 when me and my friends Adrian and Ruben wanted to create a business that changed lives. After hard market research, we said, guess we got it. We realized the laundry sector had not evolved to the 21st century. While people was buying, listening music, renting a flat, or finding love through mobile apps, laundries were still in the street with no technology. So we got down to business and offered them the solution, Jeff. Now, Jeff is the first super app that offers daily services on making people's life easier. You can book laundry, beauty, or fitness services from Jeff app. But Jeff is more than that. We decided to return to the neighborhoods what digitalization took away from them, and we create a digital franchise model. However, the road to get here has been like a roller coaster. Firstly, we created as the tech platform to connect laundry services with users. After, we want to control the logistic step, to offer and guarantee the best experience to our customers. So finally, we realized that combining franchise model with tech platform was the perfect business match to offer the best possible service to our users. We choose a franchise model that allows us to scale faster and with better quality for our end customers. Today, we have more than 2,000 Jeff points in more than 30 countries, from Asia, Latin, Europe to Africa. Well, we started just 3 friends, ends of 2015. Now, almost 4 years later, we are 500 Jeffs of more than 25 nationalities. So we are really proud of the team that we have built so far. Definitely, we try to create a Jeff culture to provide the best possible service to our customers. Jeff will not be just one solution. Jeff wants to become an ecosystem. We see that the future will be around 40 to 50 ecosystems in the world, and we want to play a role there. This is our 3rd company. We have successfully sold the 2 first, and now we have a clear vision to go to IPO, be a public company next 3 to 4 years.
Thank you, friends. A very good evening to all of you, and I welcome you all to the webinar of Mr. Jeff. I'm Sonia Chaudhary, and I'm part of the management at Franchise India. The opportunity, friends, that we're presenting you today is an international company by the name of Mr. Jeff, the video that you saw. And this is a market entry opportunity for India, and with a leading brand from Spain. And I also have with me our colleague, we have Nitika, who's also leading the project along with me. So to set a perspective, friends, I'll put some thought behind, and I'll also request all of you to make this session interactive. And while we run you through a short presentation also, but I'll be more than happy to take any number of questions, any queries that you have overall on the industry, the opportunity. And you can use the Q&A box that you see at the bottom on the screen to put your questions, and I'll take all your questions, queries from there. And so, friends, Franchise India is the country developer of Mr. Jeff, and we have been given the responsibility of selecting the right candidature and profile for this opportunity. And through our brand management company, which is FranWorks, we have taken these country development rights. And at Franchise India, we're also extremely sensitive whenever we take a country developer right of a company, and equally very selective about the opportunities that we want to undertake and present to all of you. So unless these businesses, industries, or I would say brand, they have their own conviction, we have our own conviction and belief, we do not present this opportunity to business buyers like yourself. And also as a country developer, we would develop the entire territory of India following a very structured process of selecting franchise partners on board, where our initial preference is with the top cities of India, where we're looking at a city masters to come in. And under these city masters, we would have unit franchisees coming in. So friends, before I take you through the presentation, I will also request all of you, like I mentioned, let's make the session interactive. And to start off with, I'll request all of you to even mention, if you can just go on the Q&A box and let me know what cities you've joined from. It'll help me in knowing little bit about you. So which cities, friends, आपने कौन-कौन से city से join किया है, अगर आप Q&A box में लिख सकते हैं, will be very helpful for me to know a little about you. Second, if you're already running a business, if you already have a business of yours, or you're a professional, or maybe you're already a franchisee, any of this, either you're a professional, either you are a first-time business owner, or you are somebody already owning and operating some franchise business or business, please go ahead in the Q&A box and write that. And I'd like to know as much as possible about the audience which has joined in. And I also know we have a lot of people who are also watching live today. So welcome Sujit ji from Chennai. Chennai is a very important market for us. So we definitely are looking forward for selecting profiles from the city. And others, friends, I'll request all of you, please go ahead, use the Q&A box, keep writing in. So I want to know what cities that you come from. Second, if you're already in business, running a franchise business. Third, if you are a first-time business buyer, you can write that. If you're already working, a professional, please go in the Q&A and tell me a little bit about what you've been doing. And while you do that, I will also post another question, because whenever we want to start a business, and irrespective what industry, what category, while we need to have a lot of information about the business, but at the back of our mind, we have a timeline in mind. And I know if I want to start something, another 15 days I'm starting, another 1 month I'm starting, 3 months, 6 months, एक timeline जरूर होता है हमारे back of the mind में, हम business कब शुरू करना चाहते हैं. And when we have that timeline, we know that we are serious about taking that plunge. So if you have a timeline in mind, friends, आप लिखिए please Q&A box में, आप कितने time frame में आप सोच रहे हैं आप अपना business शुरू करना चाहते हैं. 15 दिन है, is it 30 days time, is it 2 months time, 3 months time, 6 months? Even if that period is 1 year or longer, you should be very clear about when you want to start the business, because only when you have that clarity, you would bring seriousness on working backwards on that timeline. So guys, keep writing in, and I look forward to maybe even answering, but I'll like to request you, please make it interactive. आपके answers मेरे को help करेंगे आपको जानने में, आपका interest जानने में, and also to know all of you much better. So अगर आप बताएंगे, will be helpful for me to get in, keep writing in, and I'll read that out. Any questions you have, please put, and I'll take that up. So setting up, little understanding on the opportunity that I'm presenting. The company, like I said, is Mr. Jeff. This is a globally successful company, and they actually firmed up their plan to come to Indian market late in the last year, which was 2021, after mid 2021. They decided they wanted to be present also in Indian market. And their decision to enter the market came after successful market entries they have done in more than 40 countries. में ये brand आज की तारीख में चलता है, and they are world's biggest chain, fastest growing chain. They entered America last year, and this was sometime in the last quarter of the year where they announced their launch in that market. And a very credible partner they have in America is Clean Right, which is their partner in America. And this is a equity venture capital fund that invests only in laundry companies in growth stage. जो भी growth stage में laundry companies हैं globally, Clean Right company invests in those companies, and so they are the kind of partners they have in America. And I'm giving you this background to set understanding and a flavor of the pedigree of partners they have in all the global markets. The year 2021, when the entire world, the last 2 years have been very, very difficult, challenging for business. They raised about 17.4 million in Series B. So they raised their Series B funding financing round last year in a very difficult period, which was COVID-19. And this financing round was led by All Iron Ventures. And this financing round also had investors from some of the credible names, which I'm sure all of you would be able to relate to, investors from companies like Alibaba, there's a big giant, Dropbox, Uber, Stripe. All these are big tech companies, very big successful companies. They also participated in this round. So the last year is where they decided to be in Indian market, and before that they entered similar market also called Brazil, which is a very difficult market in terms of their demographics. It's a huge economy which they entered, and they consolidated the entire market. They acquired one of the biggest players in that market called Lava Eleva. If you have been seeing what is happening in this industry, they acquired the biggest market player there, and through this acquisition they consolidated the most important but also one of the largest markets in the world, right? So what I'm trying to say is the company has been growing very fast, and a lot of inorganic growth which the company is focusing either by franchising or by acquiring. That's a very big focus with them. And the brand is also the fastest growing startup in the world across all categories. When I say all categories, I'm not comparing only with laundry companies, I'm comparing with anything and everything which can be retail. So they are one of the fast growing companies, startup today in the world. And what they have done is, they have put their entire energies and focus on two things. And these two things they have made the core of their business, which is convenience. And you saw the video where the founder laid a lot of convenience focus. And second is technology. So everything which makes the life of people easy is what the company has been focusing on. And second is they've integrated technology. And so they have been transforming the way people do laundry across the world. And they've actually, I'm very proud to say, they have actually transformed the entire industry at large. Every country they have been, they have captured a very substantial market share. So I'll request Nitika if you can have the presentation on the screen, and friends keep writing in. I'll take as much. Pratham ji, we have the Q&A. You can write anything that you want to write on the Q&A. I will read everything from the Q&A. I will answer as much as we can do. And Prashant ji, welcome. You're looking for you're new to the business, but you're looking to start in Bombay. And I would say among the top 10 cities where Mr. Jeff wants to be in, and Bombay definitely is one of our top priorities to be in. So if we look at startups, and we all live in an era where, including what we are seeing all around, startups today have become big. They are unicorn companies, billion-dollar companies. And these companies are the ones that have come up with innovative solutions of bringing technology to traditional industries. बहुत सारे ऐसी चीजें जो हम हर रोज कंज्यूम करते हैं, right? We consuming a lot of services through Big Basket, Dunzo, Zomato, Paytm, Blue, which is smart mobility company. All this is something which is not new. ये services हम पहले भी use करते थे, या ये product हम पहले भी use करते थे. Maybe business like laundry is also traditional. ऐसा नहीं था कि before these chains came up, we were not using laundry, we were using. So anything, where these companies, which are these billion-dollar companies, which brought in innovative solutions, they brought a lot of innovation to traditional industries like Dunzo, Big Basket. And same is something which is happening with even laundry today. Maybe 7 years back, people were not thinking of laundry as a organized business. Business chal raha tha, but large part of that business was unorganized. But 6 years back, this industry started to become organized. So the company is using the technology to solve the day-to-day issues for an end consumer. They started in 2016, 6 years back, and present in about 40 countries. And they started with a city called Valencia. And they founded the company. There are 3 university friends who came together and founded the company. And they wanted to make life easier for the community they serve. So Mr. Chef is a tech-based laundry brand, a convenience service provider. Can we go on the next slide? Yeah, I've covered this. Next slide. So if you look at this, they had a vision of, making the life of the community easier. So live good, look good, feel good is what is the underlined, I would say, philosophy of the company. Now, when we look at the Indian urban spaces, friends, it is far, it's all full of multi-storied buildings, apartments, complexes, townships. And with the rising phenomena, if you look at the rising phenomena of ease of living, smart city, phenomena, it is growing across Indian states. And because it is happening, all domestic services, even today, a lot of domestic services जो आप अपने घर में consume करते हैं, आप देख लीजिए कौन सी services आप हर रोज अपने घर में consume करते हैं. All these services are becoming digitalized. And even in the times to come, the year to come, the next 4-5 years to come, there will not be a single service, domestic service, जो आप consume करेंगे और वो digitalized नहीं होगी. So the solution which Mr. Jeff brings to you is not just a business format, but they're bringing the entire experience which they have digitalized, very, very smartly. Globally, also, when you look at this market of laundry, this is very fragmented, and the large number of players in the global market which are competing for the same market share. So when I say they are competing for the same market share, which also means there is a space or there's a room, for a market leader to emerge. And this was a space which Mr. Jeff took, and they have managed to actually create a revolution, and they revolutionized a sector which was as traditional as laundry, becoming leaders in the sector globally. And today, if you look at consumers, how we behave as consumers, we look at businesses, we look at consuming products, we look at consuming services from a provider of services which is offering us convenience, right? So so this was the foundation of the company, and what today LinkedIn is to professional network, what Amazon is to e-commerce, that is what Mr. Jeff is to personal services, day-to-day services. So all the pictures, friends, that you see are of different businesses which the company is into. So they are into businesses of food, they are in the business of wellness, they are in the business of fitness. So all that they're doing globally, but India, they would launch the first business, which is laundry, and gradually, the other businesses would also start coming in. Tika, go back, please. All right. So these are some of can we go back, please? I've not covered these slides. I think we're moving a little too fast. आप पीछे जाइए, please. Yeah, can we go on the initial slides? I've not covered anything. Can we go on the third slide, please? And friends, keep writing. जो भी आपके questions होंगे, I'll be more than happy to take that. I think while Nitika puts that slide, I'll say, anything which touches the daily life of a consumer, the company, Mr. Jeff, wanted to make it easy. जो भी चीज किसी भी एक daily हमारे activity में touch करेगी, that's what Jeff is focusing on. And they're creating a lifestyle change, by focusing on these services. And they wanted to create a branded omni-channel ecosystem for day-to-day services, making people life easier by looking good, feeling good, and also customer centricity, was the core, or I would say epitome of Mr. Jeff business. So what we will cover is next slide. I'll talk about the company at large, maybe the journey of the company, what they had. And so we see the three founders, friends, and you saw Eloy speaking in the video. So he's the one who initiated, he's the CEO and the founder of the company. He's leading the overall expansion and operations. We have Ed Ryan, who's the technical head. And then we have Ruben, who leads the entire marketing for the group. Next slide, please. This story is very, very interesting. And, I will request Nitika, if you can go on the full screen. So they started in 2015, like I mentioned. If you look at this graph, friends, they started in 2015 with their first outlet in Valencia. And almost for one complete year, they piloted, they perfected their business model. 2016 is where they launched a subscription model. Subscription model in a laundry service is something which I would say is the heart of the business, because it builds a lot of predictability. अगर आपका business subscription based है, आपके business में income की, cash flows की बहुत predictability आती है. That's what they did. They perfected that. So 2016 में उन्होंने subscription model अपना launch किया. 2017, after their successful operations and their outlet making great money, they started franchise model in 2017. And every year, if you look at this graph, 2018, 2019, 2020, even 2021, they did the biggest market entry, which was America. But on an average, starting 2018, on an average, every year they have been adding about 10 to 15 countries. 10 से 15 countries उन्हें हर साल अपने launch किए, including the most toughest year जो हमारा 2021 था. Even in this period, including 2019, they were there entering almost every 4-5 months. There were a new country they were launching. So 40 countries as I speak today, and they're now entering India in 2022. And hopefully, we should be announcing the first tie-up very soon for a very big cluster that we are going ahead with. Next slide, please. So they currently have, 40 countries. The next slide will give you information on where all these locations are, Nitika. So Latin America, US, Europe, go further down. So this is where all the highlighted portion that you see on the slide, the purple portion is where the current presence is including Africa and Southeast Asia. More than 40 countries, and today as I speak, there are more than 3,000 franchise partners they have across the globe. They are growing at a pace of about 80 to 100 franchise partners, which the company is adding globally every month. हर महीने 80 to 100 franchise partners is what they're adding, and they have more than 2 million users. ये 2 million इनके वो users हैं जो subscribers हैं to the services of Mr. Jeff. Next slide, please. And this is another very interesting, slide. The company Mr. Jeff is used as a reference point. अगर हम technology की बात करते हैं, business की बात करते हैं, marketing की बात करते हैं, the name Mr. Jeff, they used as a reference point for businesses, not just industry, but पूरे business में this company is used as a reference point. 2017, they were awarded as the best startup, amongst the entire startup the world saw in the year 2017. They were rated amongst the 20 top startups by Google, and Google is a credible company. They were awarded by them as the top 20 startups in the world. And these are some other awards which the company got, including awards on technology. They've got some awards on marketing. But this is something which I felt was worth mentioning. Next slide, please. So this is, friends, if you look on the slide, and if you heard even Eloy speak in the video, they have 20 nationalities. Their head office in Spain has 20 nationalities where the team comes from. And in these 20 nationalities, the logos that you see on the screen, which is Facebook, Nike, Grab, Uber, Google, these सारी की सारी iconic brands, and these are marquee companies. These are companies that we all relate to. We take their names very often. We consume their services. I'm sure, of many brands that you see here, almost 90% of you out here would be using one or the other services, or at least all these services. So the entire experience team, jo Jeff ki team hai, they're all headquartered in Spain. They have experience of working in some of the credible companies like Facebook, Nike, Coca-Cola, Booking.com. And the picture that you see here is the picture of their head office in Spain and all their teams collected. Next slide. Another interesting, or I would say, criteria when any investor or maybe a franchise partner, or even we, when we thought that we wanted to partner with Mr. Jeff to develop their Indian territory, we even looked at who are the people who are behind the companies. So apart from the promoters who have big stakes in the business, there are many other investors these are marquee investors who have actually trusted the growth of the company. So if you look at these names, you look at these companies like Coca-Cola, Airbnb, all Iron Ventures, which led their funding round up last year, and including Kim Jung, he's the founder of a company called NXC Corporation. This is a leading, company, gaming company out of Korea. You can Google them. So all these are credible, venture funds, companies, which are also investors in Mr. Jeff, and which to me lends a lot of credibility to the company and the commitment, the founders have, and the trust these investors have on the future valuation and growth of the company. Next slide. So I'll talk a little bit on the business model of Mr. Jeff, and they call their model unique business model. And so Jeff has developed a very unique value proposition, where technology connects the offline and the online world. This is very, very unique about it. While every business might say that I'm hybrid, hum online bhi karte hain, offline bhi karte hain, but they really don't have a proposition which connects these two worlds together. That's very, very important. So they have both virtual and physical blending, and so the physical outlet, blends very well with their technology-based solutions, and this is where a differentiated edge for customers is created. If you look at the entire ecosystem, or I would say the industry at large, Scaling up for many companies, many players was very, very difficult because of operational intensity of the business. This business requires a lot of operational intensity, and this intensity of operations, both back end or your front end, may both back end as well as the front end. But Mr. Jeff made it very simple through the unique model, which is unparalleled to any other player. They follow efficient full cycle approach, pura full cycle approach, which starts right from booking your via the app, pick up hair, cleaning services, delivering wash clothes within a scheduled time frame. Globally, they have a 48 hours turnaround time. 48 hours turnaround time ke andar they do everything, booking se leke delivery tak, all that is something that you can track on their app. And a lot of investments which the company has raised in the last couple of years, all that and a larger part of that investment has gone back in their technology. And they're winning customer with convenience, and they have invested in everything which can make the experience of a consumer, best. So quality services, quick turnaround time, sorted logistics are things which makes, a consumer like us choose one player over the other. And all that is something which the team of Jess has actually, focused and invested big time. So business in a box, next slide, please. So business in a box is a, next slide. So business in a box is all differentiated services which the company is offering, and all these solutions, they come together to make and give a holistic approach to run the business. So I'll start with talking about all these 5 areas, which is starting with technology. Mr. Jeff, they arm their franchise partners with technology, and this technology, I would say, would otherwise be unavailable, because the investment they have done is they've put a lot of investment on this technology. So this technology would either be unavailable for somebody who wants to start a business, or even if it is available, be financially out of reach. Right now, every franchisee company says they have a technology, but what Mr. Jeff has a groundbreaking technology which empowers, their partners across these 40 countries to operate the 21st century business model, and allows them to attract new consumers, service these consumers, and most importantly, which is, I would say, biggest challenge for any company, is to retain clients. All that is something which they have done successfully just by the use of this technology. Now, those companies that are investing in technology are also the ones, you will all agree, friends, which have which have actually today disrupted the industries, and Mr. Jeff is one of them. They are actually winning by offering not just convenience, but they're offering convenience at scale. कई बार आपकी टेक्नोलॉजी होती है बट वो बहुत बड़े स्केल को हैंडल नहीं कर पाती है, बट व्हाट दे हैव डन इज द इन्वेस्टमेंट व्हिच दे हैव डन in their technology is they have been able to address convenience at scale, and that is the only reason they have been able to manage all these 40 countries from just their head office in Spain. If you look at traditional business like laundry, there are huge operational hassles, and in order to counter these challenges, Mr. Jeff has institutionalized the entire unorganized process. And these issues are, quality related issues. So what Jeff has done is they've created these SOPs in place for each area or each phase of operation. And they also have set aside a dedicated quality advisor with each area of franchise. Jitne bhi city partners hain, they've dedicated quality supervisor who also works with them. So you as a partner get a support from the super specialist, where you are assigned a partner success manager. He's somebody who works as a consultant with you. He's somebody who's aligned to each partner to analyze and improve the business operations, store management. Second is a partner support agent. He is somebody who's aligned real time with you, who's available immediate, and a daily support line that works with every partner. Now, to the extent, the franchise partner gets entire training directly, has an access to Jeff Academy. Jeff Academy is where the entire training for unit franchisees, city-based franchisees happen. And they have a very robust online training platform that teaches every franchisee, how to manage your Jeff store, and which includes even, I would say, training on the cleaning techniques. They have a Jeff lab where entire training of techniques is also given to their partners. Branding and marketing is something which the company we saw they are a reference point in the industry, and the company has a lot of digital content, a bank of images, videos, templates, which are given to a franchise partner to recreate, or I would say tweak. So you don't have to do too much on that. You just tweak and you can make it work, for your location. So you can apply all these tools hyper local, wherever you are present. So they have a very detailed marketing playbook, and this marketing playbook even teaches you and helps you and trains you how to reach to your audience. They have a launch pack. When you launch the outlet, they have a launch pack which teaches you how to reach out to your audience. Second, which is most important and most of the companies don't teach you, is how to convert your clientele. A lot of these people who are consuming these services are already going somewhere, right? But how do you convert that audience to become a Mr. Jeff maybe customer? So they also have a manual, a playbook which teaches you how to convert the audience. So all that is something which is taken care by the company, and all this is something which can be hyper locally used. When I say hyper local, even for a city of Delhi, अगर हमें लगता है South Delhi में हम launch कर रहे हैं, how to apply that marketing playbook for a South Delhi store, how to apply that for maybe a Bangalore store that we are launching. So even to that extent, this marketing playbook can be used. So there, as a Jeff partner, friends, you become a partner, part of the entire business ecosystem of the company. It gives you an omni-channel ecosystem, which means that you have access to the web, you have access to the application, you also have access to the physical store. So all that combined together. And because they have a very strong omni-channel, now this ecosystem which they have created becomes a very strong entry barrier, for any new competition, right? Just give me a moment, friend. Sorry. And because they have created a very strong omni-channel system, this is what creates a very strong entry barrier for any new competition. किसी भी अगर competition को अगर वो compete भी करना पड़ेगा, it takes a lot of effort to do that. So a very strong barrier for any new competition as a potential entrant, because they don't have to even duplicate. एक तो उनके पास they have a job to duplicate. But second, which is most difficult, is to better the core product, because they have a very robust value proposition that they have created. जिसको duplicate करना या उसको better करना, is also very, very difficult and challenging. So this is what they're offering to their potential partners. I'll also give you some perspective on the industry so that you understand, and the understanding बहुत important है. Somebody who wants to get into the business, you have to understand, on the industry at large. I'll request Nitika if we go on the next slide. So industry of laundry in India, it is currently, it should be around $15 billion in the next, I would say, 3 odd years. And if you look at how this industry is evolving, there is a very big adoption of online services, and more users today are transacting online, which is actually favoring this industry. And the Indian laundry industry is today estimated to be about 220,000 crore industry. And to just give you some numbers, अगर हम India के top 10 cities भी लेते हैं, just look at the top 10 cities in the country, and in top 10 cities, maybe if I look at just 30% of the working population, I'm not saying the 100% population would use, but only 30%, and working population maybe sir 30% अगर हम लेते हैं, this is almost about $10 billion already, right? And if you look at this segment of laundry, there are broadly 3 segments of this industry. एक बहुत primitive segment है, धोबी segment. We are all aware of this segment, and at some point in our lives, we were using this services too. This is very, very primitive. ये बहुत primitive है. It's still working, but not so much in the top, 10 cities. Very, very unhygienic. There's no transparency. आपको नहीं पता होता आपका कपड़ा कहाँ पे जा रहा है, कहाँ पे धुल के आ रहा है. You cannot have any visibility on that. So बड़ा primitive है, धोबी structure था हमारा. Second जो segment है वो हमारा industrial laundry का है. Lot of companies are still doing that. I think last to last week I was speaking to one of the associations in West India, and this association is a laundry association that works with 5,000 laundry companies. Deal करता है. These are unorganized players. And they deal with, and they have an association with more than 5,000, laundry companies. And they said the biggest problem that we have is we don't have technology in place. I think we can better the services. We can have, better pricing that we can do if we connect with the chain. And many of this member, in this association, they were also collection points. So what does collection points do? They collect the material and they give it to a big, I would say, फैक्ट्री जहाँ पे सारा का सारा आपका प्लांट में सारा कपड़ा जाता है, And this is called as a industrial laundry setup, where we have big factories which have collection points. सारे collection points से आपका जो कपड़ा है इन collection points से आपका हब में फैक्ट्री में जाता है, धुलता है, it comes back to these collection points and then it goes back to the respective consumers. The biggest problem here is यहाँ पे भी आपका mixing होता है, you know, आपका, because these are very big machines, so you have big batches which go in the same machine. Again, very, very unhygienic. So the is organized and also which actually solved the problem was laundry model, or I would say laundromat model, which was more hygienic. We had people who were consuming these services, especially in the top 10 cities. You had visibility of where your cloth was going. You knew I was going into an environment which was much more hygienic. अगर हम अपने घर का भी खर्चा देखते हैं, any household today, you know, that is about, you know, 4-member household, almost about 7 to 8 hours per week is what we manage, put our time to manage laundry. Minimum 2,000, 2,500 rupees is what an average household will also spend washing their clothes. जहाँ पे आपका maid का खर्चा है, you know, whatever part time, we have 200 rupees to 300 rupees that we spend on detergents that we use. Almost 500 to 700 rupees we would use even giving to Adobe for ironing our clothes. इसके ऊपर अगर आप डेप्रिसिएशन डाल देते हैं मशीन की जो हमारे घर में रखी रहती है, 500 रुपए का एवरेज हमारा डेप्रिसिएशन कॉस्ट होता है. Now all this cost put together, we end up spending at least 2,000 rupees every month on the service. Now, in spite of having a machine, a maid, a help, ironing guy at our disposal, we still are unable to get convenience, reliability, quality. So hence it turns out to be very huge, you know, opportunity, because it's a big problem that we are solving. In India, we had more than 100 startups, you know, which have come up in this space in the last, I would say, 6-7 years. And less than 20 startups are currently seed funded. And even in this scenario, there is no single international player. कोई भी एक single international player हिंदुस्तान में अभी भी नहीं है. So which makes it a very, very robust opportunity. Now, looking at some of the trends, I did talk about the industry. You look at the number of, you know, the size of the market. India, I told you about 2,20,000 crore market hai, but globally बहुत बड़ा market है. This is 181.4 billion market size, and almost 34% there has been an increase in online orders globally. You know, this is a reflection of how the industry is evolving. 34% people have started to order globally, you know, online, the services which they use digitally. Next slide, please. Now, this is a picture of, you know, one of their stores. If you look at the structure, you look at the pictures, very minimal, you know, branding अगर आप देखेंगे बहुत ही clean है, minimalistic है, जहाँ पे सिर्फ हमने एक बड़ा clean आपका frontage है, preferably a glass, Mr. Jeff logo on the top, and a reception inside when you enter. And on the back hand side is where the machines are stacked and the chemicals or detergents are stacked. This is something which comes in an area of 400 square feet is the minimum area that you need. But this is very clean, you know, design. Next slide, please. Take a next slide. So these are some of the certified suppliers. Now, all the suppliers, friends, that you see are global suppliers. Globally, जहाँ पे भी 40 countries हैं, सारे के सारे countries में these are certified suppliers which take care of all supplies, including Remax, जो उनके real estate partners हैं. Any requirement for real estate location, something Remax would work with you. Henkel है, Ecolab है, Audley है. These are all their, you know, detergent partners. Globally, all supplies happen from these suppliers, vendors. And Electrolux is also, which is the machine partner for Mr. Jeff. Next slide. So what is the business opportunity? There are 3 services which are laundry. The company would do ironing, dry cleaning, and I will also add wet cleaning. Wet cleaning is also a service which is not available so much in India, and unorganized जितने भी players हैं वो services offer नहीं करते हैं. And this is something which is more hygienic, I would say, wet cleaning versus dry cleaning. And a lot of evolved consumer is today using wet cleaning then dry cleaning, because इसमें जो chemical का use होता है wet cleaning में वो बहुत कम होता है. So what you need is a 400 square feet of space, almost 1 to 4 employees globally, especially a lot of their international markets जहाँ पे वो present हैं, along with the franchisee, they have 1 employee, because it does not have too much of reliability. It is less manpower. You don't need too much of manpower. In fact, even if you have a franchise partner and 2 people in India, you can easily run day-to-day operations. Next slide. So quickly, these are three services which I talked about: laundry, ironing, dry cleaning, and also wet servicing. 400 square feet of space, modern design है, बहुत cumbersome नहीं है, बहुत interiors में बहुत पैसा नहीं खर्चा हुआ है, just minimalistic design, modern design. 3 machines आप यूज करते हैं लॉन्ड्री की, एंड 3 ड्रायर्स होते हैं जो इक्विपमेंट आपका यूज होता है आउटलेट में, एंड 1 ironing table. That is that is the only equipment that you use in the outlet. High productivity because they have all processes which are streamlined. Everything is technology driven. About 2 to 4 employees is what, along with the franchise partner, makes it very, very efficient and very, very easy for a franchise partner to manage, because everything is streamlined through the app of Mr. Jeff. And they do everything from online home services, which is on-demand home services, to offline, where somebody can place an order on the app, and you can track your entire order, from the time it is picked up till the time it comes back to you. All that is something which can be tracked via the app. Next slide. So I'll talk about, friends, the financial business model also, and there are 2 sets of our working and presentation. This part of the presentation would talk more about the company background, what is there for you, kin locations हम जाना चाहते हैं. And the second round of discussion, I would prefer we do more one-to-one, because based on your area of interest, your profile, what location you want to enter, what kind of partnership you're looking at, we would like to have maybe detailed chat on financial working, what it takes. But broadly, I will tell you what we're looking at. These are 11 cities where Mr. Jeff wants to be in, and maybe every time I'm presenting this webinar, one of the cities will start moving out, because we are in advanced stages of discussion in some of the locations. So as of now, all these locations are open, barring one, like I mentioned, which we are closing. But I have sub-unit, जो उसके नीचे आप आना चाहते हैं, if you're looking for a unit franchisee, some locations will open for a unit franchisee. The opportunity today is only for a master franchisee, where you can become a partner with Mr. Jeff, and you take the entire right of the city. For example, Delhi, NCR, Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Pune, Jaipur. These are all cities where you have an opportunity to become a master franchisee, where a city like Delhi has a potential of, I would say, 100 outlets to be opened. A city like Bombay would have maybe 75 to be opened. A city like Bangalore would have another 75 plus to be opened. A city like Hyderabad would have a potential of more than 50 locations to be opened in the same city. Chennai would have similar structure. Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Pune would have about 40 plus potential. Barring Goa, which would have not more than 15, it is a smaller city, and this we added only as an exception, because Mr. Jeff, being a global brand, and we have a lot of global tourists which comes to the city, and these locations, we felt Goa would be a very strategic location for us to look at. So Goa, maybe humne expansion is where we're looking at. So these are top 11 cities where we want to be in. We're looking at this stage only for a city-based master arrangement or a partnership. But for reasons, you're looking for a unit franchisee, agar aap single unit bhi dekhna chahte hain, you can park your applications or your interest with us. The moment we have an area franchisee confirmed for that location, all these inquiries will become live. So jo bhi aapka interest hai, please you can reach out to us. Next slide. So very interesting, friends, on this slide, maybe I'll take you very quickly. And so what you get as an area franchisee is you get the exclusive right of the territory. Agar aap Delhi mein kholna chahte hain, Bangalore if you want to open, Chennai you want to open, Bombay you want to open. So the opportunity is for an exclusive right, where you get the right of the territory for the entire duration of the contract. And there are 2 obligations, of a franchisee, a master franchisee. First and foremost, you will own and operate 1 store of yours. So to qualify yourself as an area franchisee, 1 outlet to own and operate is something that you have to do. And second, you will also have the responsibility of developing the territory that you own. अगर आप बॉम्बे ओन करते हैं या बैंगलोर, हैदराबाद, जो भी टेरिटरी आप ओन करते हैं, एक तो उस टेरिटरी में आपने खुद का आउटलेट खोलना है अपना. And this outlet will also become your own hub, where you can train your partners which come under you. Second, your obligation will be to develop the territory and expand the territory, right? So minimum potential, we are looking at locations which has minimum of 25 centers which can be opened. Any location which has less than 25 outlets is not something that we are entertaining at this point in time. Once we have penetrated these 11 cities, we look at maybe subsequent locations. So own and operate, and you get a right to sub-franchise. Now, as an area franchisee, it is very interesting to note, जो आपका खुद का franchise fees है, the component of franchise fees to own and operate your own store comes at a 50% discount, right? And also, as a area franchisee, the store that you're running and operating by yourself, you also get a 50% discount on the royalty, right? So for example, if I talk about unit investment, एक outlet अगर खोलने का investment है, this is broadly about 25 to 30 lakhs investment, where about 10 lakhs goes towards franchise fees, and जो balance आपका investment है, that is towards interiors, that is towards equipment and initial, I would say, consumables that you would order. All that put together becomes almost about 25-30 lakhs of an investment for putting up one single store of Mr. Jeff. And as a area franchisee, your earnings again, आपकी जो main दो earnings आती हैं, आपकी दो earnings हैं. एक आपकी earning आती है franchise fees से, which is a one-time fee which a unit franchisee gives you. So 50% of that fee goes to you. आप बल्कि पूरा franchise fees जो आता है, उसमें से आप 50% आप retain करते हैं, 50% goes to the parent company in Spain. And on the royalties also, you have a 50% share. So 50% share आपका royalties पे होता है. Franchise fees एक one time fee होती है. Royalty is an ongoing royalty, recurring royalty है, which is charged by you to a unit franchisee every month. And 50% of that fee which you charge is retained by you, and 50% goes to the parent company. So even if I look at the dynamics for an area franchisee, अगर मैं समझूं कि 25 का ही potential है, while cities like Bangalore, Delhi, Bombay, they have 75 or 100 franchises which can be opened during the tenure. But even if I look at a potential of 25 outlets, अगर हम 25 का potentially पकड़ के लेते हैं, तब भी अगर हम सब franchise करते हैं, imagine 25 outlets multiplied by almost 5 lakhs, which is your share. This becomes more than 1 crore alone in the form of franchise fees, which becomes your source of revenue, which is big. Second source of income is royalties. And this also you multiply, हर महीने आपको ये 50% share होगा, which will be almost about, I would say, 12 to 15,000 आपका share बनता है ये, royalties के ऊपर. Multiply that with number of centers, multiplied with number of years. Minimum contract period जो किसी भी एक franchise partner का होगा, वो 5 years का है. तो जो आपके recurring royalty आएगी, अगर एक भी center आप sign up होता है आपके नीचे, तो आपको 5 साल तक perpetual royalties उस center से आपको मिलती है. 50% आप अपने आप retain करते हैं. Now, if I just club these two fees together, एक तरफ आपका master fees है, एक तरफ आपका royalties है. This alone becomes about 2.5 crores just by 25 outlet operational. अगर आपके 25 outlet sign up होते हैं, operate होते हैं, only by charging and retaining that franchise fees and retaining the royalty share, you get almost about 2.5 crores income just by investing 50,000 USD. So what it takes to become a unit city master is a fee of $50,000. You get the right to own the territory and operate unit franchisees under you. Next slide, please. So this is it, friends. So very quickly, I'll recap the model. We're looking for an area franchise partners at this stage. Unit franchise inquiries, if all of you, any of you are keen to explore unit franchise, we'll be more than happy to discuss. But our first intention is to get a bigger player, somebody who has skin in the business, somebody who becomes a partner with Mr. Jeff and they develop the territory. And once this territory partner comes in, sub-franchising unit franchise partners would start coming under him. What it takes for an area franchisee is a fee of about $50,000. And this fee translated to about INR would be anything between 36-37 lakhs का approximately fee structure आपका होता है. इसके अलावा जो आपका investment होता है अपने unit outlet के ऊपर होता है. So you will own the territory, plus you will also own and operate one unit. And all the sub-franchising that would happen, you take a share of royalties and franchise fees, which means that the income potential is almost 15 to 20 times minimum. जो भी आप upfront investment आप territory में करते हैं, तो उसका जो income generation है, revenue है, which is almost 20 times more than the investment that you do. So just to recap, friends, we're talking about an opportunity for 10 top cities in India, 11 cities rather. We're looking at a partner who comes with an entrepreneur spirit, who understands, has time to invest in the business, and equally bullish, on the industry at large. And the company, Mr. Jeff, is a proven system. They're running in 40 countries. They have very big technology play, which makes it highly scalable. I've not seen companies cannot scale today without technology. So they have a very big tech play, and which every franchisee would be trained and would take their entire systems on that platform. Third important thing to also understand, friends, is you're not creating a new market. आपको कोई नई market consumer की आप create नहीं कर रहे हो. You're only working to create that shift of the market, which means ye services kahin na kahin consume ho rahi hai. Your role is to convert, that market, and this market can be from maybe, unorganized player to an organized player like Mr. Jeff, or it could be this satisfied customers jo kahin na kahin consume kar rahe services, but they're not satisfied on that services where they're consuming. So you're not creating a new market, you are only shifting the market. Fourth, you have a big B2B as well as a B2B share. So as a Mr. Jeff franchisee, you will have both business to business target audience, and you will also have business to her consumer. ये दोनों की target audience आपके रहेंगे, and ये दोनों ही TG is already established in the industry. You also have integrated services जिसमें wet cleaning है, आपकी dry cleaning है, you have laundry as well as ironing. You have subscription based services which makes the business model robust, because आपके business में predictability आती है. Subscriber driven आपका business है. You know what subscription you have in place, and every month each franchise partner works to add on to subscribers. जितने आपके subscribers add होते जाएंगे उतना ही आपका business का predictability बनता जाएगा. Lastly, this is not a business which requires any kind of prior experience. They are not complex business. Low operational आपका expenses है, आपकी high operating expenses नहीं है, very low on manpower. So what I call is, this is a manageable business, not complex, and I call it 3 M's. This is measurable, you can measure your business, it is marketable, and this is manageable because you have all systems and SOPs which a franchise partner is trained on. And lastly, this is a hyper local business. This is not a destination, it is a hyper local business, which means if you have a neighborhood of say 100 households जो आपके services लेते हैं, आपका business 3 लाख पे भी break even करके आपको बहुत बड़ा profit दे सकता है. Even if you have a laundry, जहाँ पे आपका 3 लाख का business होता है, उसमें से easily 1 लाख की कमाई आपकी निकल सकती है, because आपके overheads बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है. One, second, you don't need a very prime location कि आपका बहुत prime location होना चाहिए. Any good neighborhood market where you have an access to a good household is something which works very well in the business. So friends, I'll request all of you, if you're keen to explore further, I'll put my email ID. You can reach on the email ID, and I will also have Nitika who will reach out to all of you. I'm putting my email ID. You can write on this email ID, and also her WhatsApp number, which is 8800493185. आप इस WhatsApp पे भी आप कर सकते हैं. I'll be more than happy to come in any one-to-one meeting or discussions that you wish to do. Any kind of further detailing on financial model is something that we would completely restrict, for one-to-one discussion. Thank you so much, friends, for being on the webinar. Have a great day ahead. Bye.